in your experience there, you spent almost 3 years there. Um, and I'm just thinking of like leaders listening to this podcast right now. Like, how do we create? And not everybody wants to be Elon. I get that, but just the impact that he had, the way that he was able to put his value system, his personality on that company. I mean, that
Right.
is something that we all want to do. We want our company to represent who we are. How, in your own perspective, how did he do that?
Obviously, there's ton of things, I might not even characterize correctly, obviously, but I mean, he's one of those, the living genius. We just don't know how to appreciate sometime. We don't understand him fully sometime. Um, but I think you can read his biography and all of that. I think his
Hmm.
approach to thinking, the first principle thinking, is something very hard to do. I mean, imagine how he did it. Everybody, see, if I would,
How did that trickle down to you though? I guess like you working there, like did that come out in the form of like communications, emails? Did he show up place? Like how did that get down to you at a very practical level?
yeah. So that's what I practical level, meaning that, like I said, there are hard days, there are better days. There's uh, meaning that anything is possible is really a great way to think. You have a chat, you hit the obstacle, but there's tomorrow that you keep trying. You get to the problem solving, and him thinking. See, a lot of the approach that if I were to tell you, first car that Tesla built was the Lotus chassis. They just used the Lotus chassis. It was the car. Third party had to do the same thing. We didn't have all of the things in our house. We had to go build our initial prototype with our outsourcing vendors. So um, you have to start somewhere. You have to think that is possible, and you push forward. You know what I mean? No matter what
Mm.
obstacles coming on your way, it's always there's a solution. You just didn't know about it.
So did that manifest in conversations with your managers, with executives where like was there ever a time at Tesla that you just thought there's just no way to do this or this timeline is unrealistic and through conversations they're just like nope, it is, figure it out.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Every time there was a timeline, it looks impossible, but then look at it. Tesla Austin was built to us. The entire Gigafactory was built in record time. The China factory was built in record time. Every engineering problem was solved in. They say it's not possible, but that was done also. So um,
Did you
it,
just
it
have to work 80-hour weeks or
Yes.
how did
Yeah,
that?
pretty much. It takes a large team of
Yeah,
committed
pretty
people.
much.
And he had, he also, like, he also had a good, like that the book says, like, he also know how to, he's a extreme, the visionary, and also he can achieve that with the set of people in a crazy amount of the short time possible. So those things you can see
Yeah.
that every business that he touched, it's like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So if you want to know more in the audience, go read the book. That's the recent biography
yeah,
that got published just like
yeah,
two
that
years ago? Yeah, okay.
correct. Yeah. I mean, he has a
Yeah,
ton of
okay.
podcasts. There's so much about him. I mean, he's continued to do that. So
Yeah, but I think it's interesting that a lot of those are from the perspective of the author or from Elon, and I think it's interesting to get you as just like an employee at one of those companies at one of those times. You're going to have a different perspective on sort of how that felt for you. The ups and the downs and all that. Is there
right.
anything else you want to mention about Tesla before we move on to your time at Uber?
No, actually, see, I'm really thankful that happened. I still have good friends at Tesla. We still talk to them. It's great to see that every time there's, the company face a challenge, they always overcome that. So I don't see that as a problem, even in the future of,
Mm,
some of the bets that they have. I'm a fan. I'm a user, consumer. So we'll see. The great things will come up. So.
yeah. Actually, hearing you say that also makes me just think about the power of belief. And
Yeah.
if you as a leader believe in your mission, and if you can, whatever Elon did, we'll have to read the book to get more insight, I think, but to instill that belief in the people that were working on the projects with him. I
Right.
mean, it's interesting how you can go through that, and even if it is 80-hour weeks, but if you believe in the mission, kind of back to your point earlier,
Right.
it feels a lot less like work, and it feels more like you're doing something impactful and meaningful, right? In which you are.
I mean, it's like I
That carries
said,
you through much of the time.
absolutely. I'm glad that it happened. It's like one of those things that you learn a lot. You learn a lot. Your perspective changes. It's like one of those that the Medal of Honor that you can wear. Like you went to a boot camp of Tesla. Like you was Army. you know, you know it,
You got the tattoo and everything.
it's a, it's a scar tissue, but still a tattoo. You know what I mean?
Right on.
It's
So then
mhm.
from Tesla, you went on to Uber. What did you do for Uber? How did your compliance and everything background come into that?
Yeah, so at that time, I got somewhat like I would say like a step up in terms of managing the people and little bit of a leadership role, which was the good thing that happened. At that time, Uber was like growing. These two startups are the global powerhouse of startups. Very aggressive, fast moving, fast growing. Think of Uber also went to we launched some of our micromobility products in bigger city like Berlin and New York and Paris. So
Micromobility, meaning the little scooters and stuff.
correct, the electric bicycles and scooters, correct. At that time, Uber rides business was picking, but they also wanted to kind of cover